data analysis is still the number one required skill employers ask for. Critical thinking and problem solving is second, and in the age of generative AI, prompt engineering is third. So knowing how to use those skills outside of just a chat GPT and knowing how businesses are using it within business applications is absolutely crucial.
Hello and welcome to the Strategic Partnerships podcast series. My name is Madeline Arkins. I'm a research project officer at UIN and your host for today. My colleague Tasha Day sat down with Kaushika Jayalath, solutions consultant at Oracle Corporation, to explore how their strategic partnership with Swinburne University not only bridges the digital skills gap, but also enhances student employability. Learn more about their hands-on cloud technology experience and Oracle's role in addressing the evolving needs of both students and employers in a digital-first world. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Kaushika Jayalath on the topic of how Oracle's strategic partnership with Swinburne University is transforming education by providing students with hands-on experience in cloud-based business and technology solutions, bridging the digital skills gap and enhancing the employability through digital badges and certifications. So a little bit about our speaker today, and thank you very much for being here, Kaushika. Kaushika is a solutions consultant at Oracle Corporation, where he focuses on leveraging cloud technology to drive enterprise transformations, enhance business processes, and implement sustainable change management. In addition to his role at Oracle, he serves as a non-executive director of the CPA Australia and has a background in senior finance, accounting, business analysis, and project management roles. Kaushika is deeply committed to closing the digital skills gap, and towards this means he shares his expertise as an industry mentor and guest speaker at Monash University, Swinburne University, and the University of Queensland, all in Australia. Kaushika, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me as well, Sasha. It's a pleasure to be here.
Of course, thank you so much for being here. I would love it if you could tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and how you ended up where you are at Oracle.
Yeah, so as you said, my name's Kaushika, but a lot of people here call me Kay, whichever is easier, it's fine. I am originally from Sri Lanka and I moved to Australia as an international student. So I'm very much part and parcel of the Australian higher education system. I moved here as an international student. I then started working within the higher education sector. I worked in university in Victoria, which is in Melbourne. I've worked as an accounting professional for quite a while, focusing on the higher education sector. So a number of finance roles before I jumped into transformations. I'm very passionate about helping transform both the business side of higher education, but also the academic side of higher education. And that's part and parcel of why I do this. I did that for a while from inside of the universities. Now I'm trying to do the same thing from outside of the universities as part of the industry. Oracle is a technology corporation, obviously, and it does a lot of different things, everything from applications to cloud infrastructure to the hardware. And so it's pretty much the entire end-to-end suite of what you'd consider technology. And I sit as an enterprise solutions consultant for Australian and New Zealand universities. So I basically touch any and all things higher education from a few different lenses. You're looking at strategy, looking at business development, looking at the solutions themselves in terms of solution engineering, and then the change management aspect of things as well. Universities in this region tend to be it's like moving the Titanic in terms of trying to change direction because they're so big, because they're so complex, and there's a limited number of universities and they do a lot. So if you look at the Australia and New Zealand region, we've got something like 45, 46 universities, and they're massive in terms of their size.
Yeah.
So when you're trying to change anything, it's trying to turn the Titanic. So that's where I...
Nice, thank you so much. And it's really nice to speak to you as someone who has worked on the kind of academic and industry side, trying to connect up the two, which is really what we're all about here. You mentioned that Oracle is a technology company, and obviously we're here today to talk about the partnerships with Swinburne University and touch upon partnerships with other universities, which suggests a kind of new direction for the company towards the kind of education side of things. And I wondered if you could tell us, how does Oracle see itself evolving into a kind of core partner in education?
So what people don't realize is Oracle's actually got a 40 plus year old history with education, really, because in the past there were companies like PeopleSoft or eBusiness Suite. It's all Oracle now. And so universities have been using Oracle for a very long period of time to ensure its back office functions operate well, but also the student experience is what it needs to be. What Oracle's doing now is, as of late, it's moving away from that point of view of Oracle just being a technology vendor and more looking at itself as a strategic partner for success, no matter what industry they're in. So Oracle is involved in oil and gas, Oracle is involved in retail, Oracle is involved in manufacturing. In every one of those industries, in all of those industries, government, education, healthcare, it's looking at itself as a strategic partner for success, not just a technology vendor. And so in doing that, the questions we ask now of ourselves is not the old question would have been, how can we give our customers technology that helps them be more efficient? How can we give our customers technology that can help them optimize their costs and be better in what they do, get their KPIs to perform better? The questions we ask now, let's take higher education as an example.
Yeah.
The questions we ask now is, how do we help them improve their research capability? How do we help the researchers' experience? How do we help recruit and retain students better? How can we build more industry partnerships with universities so that they can then promote transnational education and campus internationalization options? How do we then help their new business models, mergers or spin-outs that universities start? So the questions moving away from just the operational questions we used to ask to more strategic questions, because then that drives the type of solutions we position and the partnerships we build.
Really deep partnerships, and amazing they were getting involved in this kind of facilitation of all of the innovation in the universities. Really cool.
And for us, it's a case of we don't limit ourselves to looking at just the learning and teaching aspect of things. We look at the research side of things as well, and also everything in between, the academic experience, the researcher experience, the student experience, and the professional staff as well, because they all play a part in the engine of what a university is.
Yeah, indeed, definitely. Maybe a little bit about what you look for on the partner side and who you're wanting to partner with. Could you tell us a little bit about what the driving force was behind Oracle's decision to engage specifically with Swinburne University?
So Oracle started an initiative that's been out in the US for a very long time, and it's now just recently been introduced to the Australian and New Zealand region as well. And it's really driven by the digital skills shortage. So Oracle works with a lot of enterprise customers. So for us, an enterprise customer is a business with more than 500 staff. And so we work with the CFOs, CIOs, and CHROs of these companies, and they say, thank you for the great software and the great technology. Now, who knows how to use it? Because what they're seeing is a shortage in digital skills, and they don't want to necessarily now spend 6 months training up a graduate with a commerce degree, but have no idea how to use an enterprise ERP system. Because I can attest to that myself. When I graduated, I left not knowing really what an ERP is. But that's exactly the gap we're trying to deal with and act as the bridge between universities so that the partnership enables a university to create a graduate that is skilled in all the knowledge-related business processes and the knowledge and the accreditation they need to then be employed in a successful organization.
Definitely. I think that's so important, cultivating the skills that are actually relevant for today. I think it makes everyone's life easier and more fulfilling, really. And to dive into kind of a little bit the nitty-gritty of the skills you're teaching, you just mentioned ERP, which for the uninitiated, correct me if I'm wrong, is enterprise resource planning.
Yes. And so it's not just enterprise resource planning. We go into what we call HCM, which is human capital management, and CX, which is customer experience. In other words, marketing and anything related to sales. And so historically, what Oracle has done, now Oracle's had a big history with universities anyways, so we've got engagements across universities through complete lines of business we have called Oracle Academy and Oracle University. These are education arms of the organization that work with universities. But historically, what we've done is we worked with the IT faculties and the IT education arms of universities. But what we're realizing now is the employers come to us and say, I don't really need IT students as much anymore. I need a business student who understands a bit of the IT, because the problem they're facing is finding the level of digital skills with the right level of business process knowledge as well. So what we've rolled out in Australia and New Zealand as a completely free offering for any university that wants to take it up is, here's all of the business processes that surround an enterprise resource planning system, a human capital management system, or a customer experience system. Now, teach the students the business process that sits above the theory that you're teaching anyways. If I was to use an accounting example, accountants, you learn what depreciation is. Depreciation is a concept that they learn. They learn the theory. Here's the debits, here's the credits. This is how you put it into a financial report. They learn all of the theory pieces in bits. What we do is teach or present the content so that the academics can then teach, where do these little bits of reporting and depreciation sit within the business process. And that will be an asset acquisition to retire business process. And so what the student sees is, how is depreciation done within an ERP? What do I have to actually click to run a depreciation report? How do I actually do this as a month end or a fortnightly activity? And so giving the student that level of visibility on what happens on the ground. Things like, how is AI used for budgeting and reporting? These are things that are very theoretical when taught, but students don't get to see it. So that's where we're going. All right, let's show you what an actual generative AI-driven management report might look like. And so they get to actually see it and understand the skills they need to develop in order to use something.
Great. I think actually being able to go through the process and see it happen is such a relaxing process when you're not necessarily going through it, but then when you go to the workforce and you're like, okay, actually I have been through this before, it's such an asset when you actually get out there. And I'm curious, how do you find that students are responding to learning these skills and responding to your kind of involvement in the program?
Yeah, so we've rolled this out across 2 universities in Australia and 1 university in New Zealand already. And this is, mind you, there's no real, we're not advertising this. This is a free engagement. Any university can come and sign up with us. And what we've seen already is the students are asked to learn one thing, they do that, and they immediately start learning other things as well. Now, the benefit of Oracle, what we call cloud applications, is it's all built on the one data model. So if you learn the finance business processes, there's a natural progression into the marketing processes or the HR processes, because everything's built on the same data model. So if I'm a student that is interested in learning budgeting, but I also want to run my own business, and therefore I want to figure out how to do the marketing work, I'm not going to be using different applications or different systems. It's built within the same data model. So what we've seen is students start learning, say, the budgeting process, and immediately realize, wait a minute, I can actually learn the marketing piece as well. And they start learning on their own. So the universities that have started by almost piloting it out with smaller pieces. But what they've realized is that the students then want more. Because they realize the real world applications of it. So case in point, we've even had students organize events. So this is without their degree in play.
Yeah.
Basically gone, can you come and bring Oracle solution engineers? The content is all recorded anyways, but they're saying, we'd like to learn more. Can you bring these solution engineers to the university? And so we've been actually doing after hours guest lectures as well, where on things like sustainability, things like AI in budgeting and reporting, things like the practical complexities with the business transformation. These are things that is very difficult for an academic to position as theory, because it's not theory, it's practical use case.
Yeah.
And so we're bringing that industry knowledge in. And so it gives the student, say, who's studying a Bachelor of Business, a very rounded skill set where they know the theory. That's absolutely important. You need to know your accounting standards and your theory and how it's put into practice. But then they get to see what that actually looks like within a software, and they get to hear from the technology company saying, here are the complexities you will face. And because Oracle works with high profile customers, everyone from, say, Uber to FedEx, a lot of banks use Oracle as well, we're able to tap into a base of C-suite executives, so CFOs, CIOs, who then come and speak to these students about here's what you need to focus on. So that relationship is growing. It started out of a very straightforward partnership around giving access to a learning platform, but it's morphed into something a lot bigger.
It's taken on a life of its own. Very cool. And I think, yeah, when we tap into kind of students' ability to become inspired and have their own agency to learn more, it's a really, students are learning skills, but they're also learning about their own passion and their own ability to do things and explore a topic further.
And we get a lot of students engaging with us that have their own startups that want to get into, the consulting firms, because they realize that every consulting firm has a technology practice. And there's this really nice crossroads between business and technology. They might join as business analysts. They might join as implementation consultants. They might join as basically the boots on the ground, but they realize there's a massive job market for that because those roles don't exist within an actual business. They might sit within consulting firms.
So they develop a kind of like skill set that is relevant between different roles and industries, which is indeed very cool. And I know that part of your collaboration with these universities involves the provision of digital badges for when students complete each of these modules. And if they complete the whole suite of modules, they can receive also the Oracle certification. I guess this is something quite new in terms of education and moving into digital badges. How do you view the role of these digital credentials in enhancing a student's professional profile when they're entering the job market?
Yeah, so there's two answers to that. First is Oracle, like a lot of other technology companies, have been doing this for a while in terms of offering digital badges and certification. Historically, though, what's happened is it's something that has been tapped into by working professionals, not necessarily universities. So if you go on LinkedIn even now and search Oracle University, just the hashtag Oracle University, you'll see so many people sharing their certifications and badges, and the list will be endless because that certification is then what gets them recognized by recruiters for Oracle affiliated jobs. It's the kind of thing you can share on LinkedIn, that you can put on, Twitter, that you can put on your resume. Now, all we've done is we've just given access to that same learning platform for universities, for students, for free within a packaged program. And the objective of packaging it up is so that it's not too complex and it doesn't overwhelm the student, but also so that it doesn't overwhelm the university as well. So they know exactly what they can tap into. Now, the other side of it is the fact that knowledge is increasingly becoming democratized. So it's easier to learn something now than it has ever been before. So what we think about is what's the value add that we can provide in an economy where knowledge is democratized. And that is where the badges and certifications come into play. Because yes, knowledge is democratized, but the certification, if you weren't part of this program, is going to cost you. The badging is going to cost you. Now, the badging is structured almost like a stackable micro-credential program. So you learn one thing, you get a badge. You learn a second thing, you get a badge. And as you build on it, you gain all of these badges. And for us, it's a way of adding value back to the university student and the university so that the student leaves with the knowledge and the certification or the accreditation, and they're able to say to any employer, I know how to use Oracle ERP. Look, I have the proof for it. And so it makes that conversation a lot easier. The degree is absolutely important, yes, but we've now given something in a democratized knowledge economy that makes that student stand out.
Indeed, and I think it nods to the value of the university degree and this new way of democratizing and certifying knowledge that we have and allowing them to both coexist together, which I think is very important in this day and age, definitely. So the partnership with Swinburne is obviously in its early stages, but you've mentioned to me before that you've had other partnerships with universities over a longer period of time, such as Monash University. And I wondered if you had any success stories or direct feedback from students or faculty that you could share with us from that collaboration.
Yeah, so Monash University's program started almost as a pilot program last year. And from then to now, it's grown quite exponentially. There's Bachelor of Business courses that actually teach the Oracle ERP content as part of its course content. The lecturer does a lecture on accounting information systems, and it's followed by tutorial work out of our learning platform. And they've embedded it in such a way that the student actually gets some badging by the end of the semester. And so it's a nice to have, but also the student gets access to the learning platform. And so the student can have at it and learn as many other things as they want as well. The example I gave from before was actually one of those, where students went in to learn budgeting and reporting and came out of it knowing how to run a marketing lead to opportunity process as well. So those kinds of things are real life examples. There's an accounting honors society there called Beta Alpha Psi who banded together and gone, we'd like to learn more about sustainability. So it's those students that have come to us and gone, can you come and teach us more? Because these areas are not covered. So sustainability was one major one that they wanted to cover, understand how sustainability applies in practice and how these applications embed sustainability within their processes. We had similar ones on data visualization. They wanted to see what AI looks like in data visualization. So we actually showed them, here's a report, here's a dashboard, here's the data that it's feeding in the back of it. By the way, no one's entering any kind of narrative for these reports because that's all AI driven. You have to still check whether it's accurate. And so we're showing them how the human in the loop concept still applies, but they're seeing AI and machine learning embedded within the reporting that they will build. On top of that, we've even had their MBA program adopt some of these concepts as well. So they've got a Master's of Business Administration. They introduced some of these concepts in this year. And Monash is actually developing a Bachelor of Digital Business next year. And they asked us to be a part of the panel that advises on what that program will have as well. It's taking a life of its own, but it's really because what we've done on our end is introduce the universities into a learning system or a practical application system that employers have had to pay for. So it's a win-win situation. The employer gets quicker, but also the students who leave a certain university have a set of skills that differentiate them from other graduates.
That was such an interesting point that you talked us through, with the fact that everyone is benefiting from these kind of solutions. And especially, I think that it was speaking about Oracle being a strategic partner, and you show how you come in with the university, you have a solution which is beneficial for them, you build trust as partners, and then actually it kind of spirals on to other types of activities within the collaboration, curriculum, co-design and co-delivery.
On top of that, we've run 2 separate virtual internships with Monash as well, where the students have come to us and gone, we want to solve this sustainability development goal related issue. So this UNSDG problem, we want to solve it, and we want to use Oracle and apply Oracle applications to solve it. And we've gone, have at it. Here's the knowledge. You tell us what the idea is. And we go through like a 4-week internship program that was run by Monash University, Monash Malaysia, and Warwick University, where we basically heard pitches from students about how they want to solve problems.
Really nice. Also, that direct interface to students and what they want to know and how you can help them. We just have a couple of minutes left. I would like to ask Kaushika if there's anything else that you would like to share with us about the role that Oracle is playing in shaping future talent in Australia, in all over the globe, and any advice you have for students and professionals who are looking to get involved in basically ensuring that they are ready for this kind of ever-changing digital economy.
First of all, if you are a university in Australia or New Zealand, this program is available for free. It's for you to take on and run. We're happy to support you in any way necessary. It is a new program, so you have a voice in molding it into what you want it to be as well. There's a digital skills shortage, and universities are struggling to position their value proposition in the current economy. It's a win-win situation. Outside of that, for students or for graduates who are looking to move into the massive, very overwhelming workplace that you'll enter, you need to always think about what will help you differentiate yourself from the rest. And in the current economy, digital skills is absolutely it. And that applies to everything from prompt engineering to critical thinking and problem solving. data analysis is still the number one required skill employers ask for. Critical thinking and problem solving is second, and in the age of generative AI, prompt engineering is third. So knowing how to use those skills outside of just a chat GPT and knowing how businesses are using it within business applications is absolutely crucial. And that's where Oracle adds an advantage, because Oracle has built its AI capabilities in a way that the AI comes to you. You don't have to send your data out of your ecosystem into a large language model sitting somewhere else. And so that means the AI comes to you, your data doesn't go anywhere else. So in that reality, how you have security, yes, but you now need to know how to use those AI tools that are given to you to create efficiency. And so that's what we focus on. So even the example that I gave before around data visualization, there's a reason why the way we position it, you have the AI tools with you, your data is available within the same platform, you figure out how best to engineer your prompts so it gives you the best result.
Absolutely, yeah. How to make the best use of the tools which are constantly becoming available to us and keeping sharp and up to date with that. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Kaushika. Could you tell us where people could find out more about Oracle and their partnerships with universities, or where they can directly get in contact with you, for example, for more information about this?
Both are options. If you quite literally just Google Oracle Higher Education, you'll see wherever region you might be in, there'll be an Oracle in Higher Education website that you can access. Otherwise, you can always reach out to me. I'm available via my email or LinkedIn, and I'll send you to the right person accordingly.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining. We also have a range of more long form events such as workshops, how-to sessions and training programs where you can learn practical skills to apply to your own work. And UIN members get complimentary access and discounts on these services. So please head to our website at uiin.org to see how we can help you. Thank you so much, Kaushika. This has been a really interesting chat.
Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the discussion. Follow UIN on LinkedIn, and if you're enjoying our podcasts, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on your podcast platform of choice to help others find this content too.